哦，有 record 啊。哦，有 record，so Miss 都 OK 啦，可以去 Facebook 看哦。好。
Okay, good afternoon all. Thank you for joining us today for our talk. Today's talk will be in English 啊，可以吗？今天的那个讲座是英文啊。如果要中文的话应该是下个礼拜啊，好像是啊。好 ，Okay, so today's talk will be in English 啊。Okay, my name is Jing Yu. So I'll be taking you all through this talk. So today's topic will be on identifying early signs of dementia. Okay. Okay, so thank you all for joining this online virtual talk. So just a few tips to mute yourself when you're not speaking. You can also at any point in time you can unmute yourself to ask questions. Okay, and then I saw that some of you have your video on already, so very nice to see all of you here today. Okay, and just simply just participate and then enjoy yourself lah. Okay, I hope you all get to take away something from today's session. Okay, so for the disclaimer, so the information that I share with all of you today, right, is actually for information only lah. Okay, so shouldn't be considered as any medical advice. Okay, so if let's say you want to you have any queries or any doubts, right, it's always best to consult your doctors when you see them if you have any health concerns about your specific condition. Okay, but as much as possible, if you ask any questions, I can answer lah based on my own experience. Okay. Okay, so just a brief run through of today's topic. Okay, the focus for today will be 4 areas. Okay, first would be the importance of knowing dementia. Okay, I'm sure all of you are somewhat more or less familiar with dementia itself lah. That's why, but but the knowledge is always increasing as we go by. You know, every year we learn something new about dementia. So as far as possible, I will try to cover most of well-known facts about dementia. Okay, so after you know about dementia already, right, the next one will be preventive measures. So how do we, prevent ourselves or lower our risk of getting dementia, right? Because all of us, no matter what age we all are at some risk of getting dementia. So how do we bring down the risk of getting dementia and, not putting ourselves in that position lah? Okay. But I mean, unfortunately, sometimes ourselves or our caregivers, our family members, things like that might also get dementia. Okay, so if let's say you come across someone with dementia in a community or you know of a family member who has dementia, what are the available resources that we can tap on to make our caregiving journey a lot less stressful? Okay, and the last portion would be for any questions and any questions that you might have. I can try to answer them lah. Okay, so for today, the first portion will be, why do we need to know about dementia? Okay, so for dementia, right, I'm sure most of us are familiar with it. Okay, we see it happening on TV, when we watch TV drama, Channel 8, all the shows and things like that. So sometimes you might see people being lost on the street, forget their own family members, for becoming more and more forgetful and doing things that they didn't usually used to do, right? So it's getting more and more prevalent in today's society. So I guess it's also important for us to know more about what it is and what causes it. Okay. So actually, a lot of people think that dementia can only happen to people who are older, right? But actually, dementia itself is not a normal part of the aging process. Okay, so some seniors may actually be at risk of developing chronic illnesses and brain-related illnesses such as dementia. So it's all part and parcel of the process, but not everyone will get it. Okay, so we are looking at about maybe 10%, so that about 1 in 10 seniors above the age of 60 have dementia. But it doesn't mean that you can only get dementia when you are above 60 years old. You can also get it when you are even younger than 60, 40 plus, 50 plus even. Okay, so actually dementia is an umbrella term that describes a wide range of symptoms, including a deterioration in memory, thinking, behavior, and the ability to perform everyday activities. Okay, so if you notice that you have a family member who exhibited a deterioration with regards to the memory, lose their sense of time. Last time they used to be able to wear their own clothes, but now cannot, having difficulty. So all these are like symptoms that point towards this particular person might be having dementia lah. Okay, but of course, symptoms aside, you will still have to see the doctor to get an official diagnosis lah. Okay, because sometimes the symptoms that we see might be very gray. Okay, because it can also overlap with simple things like forgetfulness, right? Because when we grow older, you might find yourself being more and more forgetful. But is that a symptom of dementia? We don't know. Okay. Okay, so with more seniors living, so nowadays there are more and more seniors living alone. When the children move out, or due to the declining birth rate, they don't have any children of their own. So end up in their old age, they will be living alone by themselves lah. Okay, so with more of them living alone, right, knowing and caring for our seniors should be something very normal, right? I mean, if we have a neighbor whom we know that is living alone by himself or herself, all the more we will tend to look for their well-being lah, like pass by their house, see how they're doing. If the door is open, see whether they are okay or not, right? Okay, so it is worrying that the number of seniors living alone in Singapore is actually going up. Okay, so going up is not only one thing, but the number of seniors passing away at home, or falling down alone at home, is also increasing. Okay, so the Department of Statistics actually estimates that about 83,000 elderly persons will be living alone by 2030. Okay, so 2030 is actually coming very quickly, and so now it's already 2023. About 7 more years, it would, we'll come across like almost 100,000 senior persons living alone. Okay, compared to just the 47,000 seniors living alone in 2016. Okay, so it's almost twice in a matter of few years. Okay, so the main causes of years living with disabilities are, okay, so living with disabilities can refer to any kind of thing, like musculoskeletal disorders, mental disorders, okay, unintentional injuries such as falls, and as well as neurological disorders. Okay, so all these things refer to seniors who are living with something bad, right? Of course, we also have seniors who are healthy, who have no issues, perfectly fine, even up to 90 years old. But the reality is most of our seniors actually do have quite a few issues that come with age, right? So, out of these 4 disabilities, right, we are looking at mental disorders and neurological disorders, which form quite a big portion of it. Okay, so mental disorders actually refer to dementia as well lah. So we also have other things like depression, anxiety disorder, and things like that. So all come under mental disorders. Okay. So but for today, we are looking at dementia lah in particular. Okay, so after knowing the statistics, right, and then knowing that out of every 10 seniors above the age of 60 years old, there is one that might get dementia. Okay, so the question that we want to ask ourselves is, are we then at risk of becoming a high-risk senior, one that is more prone to getting dementia as the years go by? Okay, so these are just some quiz questions, okay, about whether you think these are the symptoms of dementia. So this is like a little test about how much you know about dementia. Okay, so if you are familiar with the chat box, you can just indicate yes or no in the chat box. Okay, otherwise you can also just unmute yourself and just say whether you think is it yes or no. Okay, so the first is, okay, whether this is a symptom of dementia. The first is, during conversation, the person forgets which word to use. Like you talk halfway, then suddenly you forget which word to use. Okay, is this a symptom of dementia?
Not necessary.
Not necessary. Who say one? Who say? Wait, let me see.
Tina.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, so not necessary, yeah. Okay, so this first one, we keep it first, okay? Okay, I'll move on to the second one. So at the end, I will review all the answers, okay? Okay, so the second one, right? Okay, you walk into the kitchen, and then suddenly you forgot what you want to do. Okay, is this a symptom of dementia?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so walk in the kitchen, then suddenly you forget, then the one is symptom of dementia, okay, so one person say yes, anyone can say no or not?
I still think not necessary lah.
Not necessary,
Because we getting older, our memory might be affected.
Okay, correct. Okay, so we have one person saying yes and one person saying no, okay, we move on to the last one, right? Okay, so forgetting a person's name, but then later on you can remember them. Is this a symptom of dementia?
No.
Okay, no, okay, anyone say yes or not? Yes, forget person's name, but can remember is symptom of dementia. Okay, nobody say yes, okay, I saw Choju say no, so okay, no to the second question, right? I think. Okay, so all questions are not, so all these things are not symptoms of dementia. Okay, so the answer is no to all. Okay, so all these are normal signs of aging. Okay, forgetfulness, all these things are all very normal. It can happen to myself as well. Okay, I'm not 60 years old yet, but I can sometimes walk into the kitchen and then I also can forget what I want to do. Okay, because we all have so many things going on in our lives, right? That, you know, thinking about so many things at any point in time that, you know, suddenly we just forget. So all these are not symptoms of dementia. All these are actually very normal. Okay, so like you talk halfway, you also that word, what do you want to use? That one is also very normal. Happens to all of us. Okay. So okay, the symptoms of dementia, I will go into them shortly after this, right? Okay, so now we look at the differences between the age-related changes and dementia changes. Okay, so for the age-related changes, right, these changes can happen to everyone, or you and me, everything. Okay, forgetting which word to use. Okay, sometimes we fail to fill in the blank. Okay, and then people have to help us fill in the blank. Okay, so occasionally you walk into the kitchen and then you forget what to do. It's also very common. Okay, sometimes you go out, go to the supermarket, go NTUC, want to buy things. Then you actually have a list, right? Before you left the house, you actually think, okay, today I want to buy eggs, I want to buy milk, I want to buy fish ball. But later you go NTUC and then you forget, I remember you got 3 items, but I only remember 2. Now what's the last item? Then you always cannot remember. And then only when you go home, you open your fridge, then you suddenly realize that I want to buy fish ball, then you forgot, right? So all these are very, very common lah. So nothing to be worried about. Okay, sometimes you forget the person's name also, but then after a while, maybe, you know, suddenly you just remember. So all this is very common. Okay, so nothing to worry about if you experience all these things. So of course, then we move on to the signs of dementia. So all these are telltale signs that this particular person might have dementia. Okay, so the first is when the person has difficulty in holding a conversation. Okay, so like for example, when you talk to this person, you ask this person, auntie, have you eaten already? The auntie, instead of replying you, yes, I've eaten, can say something else. Like instead of saying yes, I've eaten, the auntie say, wow, today the weather very good. Today I go down exercise. You know, so it's a bit incoherent, right? They cannot answer directly to your question. So it's very difficult to actually hold a conversation with them. So similarly, if let's say you come across a senior that seems to be lost, you know, sometimes we see them wandering around, you know, the community, the neighborhood, and then from the looks of them, they seem like they don't know their way and things like that. So you ask them, auntie, where are you going? Uncle, where are you going? They can't seem to answer you. They will just say, I want to go to my son's house. Then you ask him, where's your son's house? I don't know, somewhere, right? These kind of things. So it's not because they forgot, but really at that point in time, people with dementia, right, they really have no idea. Okay, so that's why it's very difficult to have a conversation with them. Then the second one would be the dementia also disrupts their instrumental activities of daily living. So when we talk about activities of daily living, we refer to things like, changing clothes, being able to cook, okay, being able to run their errands, go to the market, clean the house, things like that. Okay, so all these things, they have difficulties with it. And misplacing items in unusual places. Okay, so we misplace items very normal, but people with dementia, you might find them placing things in the funniest places, like put their shoes in the fridge, things like that. Okay, because normal people will know not to put the shoes in the fridge, right? Okay, but things like that can happen. They can put their watch in they can put their watch in, what's the most funny place? Put the watch in the fish tank, I don't know, things like that. Okay, so all these things are telltale signs to look out for. Okay, if let's say someone that you live with, or you are a caregiver, your family member starts doing all these things, right, then it's one thing to take note. Okay. Okay, so we have a short clip, okay, to find out about the differences between the differences between dementia. Okay, let me see if you can hear. Can hear now? Is there any sound?
Cannot.
Cannot.
No sound.
Okay.
The function.
Okay, wait,
so function
let me
meaning what
go
are
back
the
a
activities
bit.
of daily living?
Can
The
already.
Okay,
floor near
let me go back a bit.
kitchen cabinet of the sink.
Okay.
There are
Okay, this
Of
one.
the sink.
Okay.
there are challenges because not all the symptoms are going to be textbook-like or very clear-cut. And when we look at dementia, we don't only look at the memory. We also look at the function. So function meaning what are the activities of daily living life, which includes dressing, bathing, toileting, ambulating, going to the ATM, getting your money, marketing, cooking. So these are the functions that we look at which will be affected if one has dementia.
Yeah, okay, so like what I said just now, right? So when we want to look at whether a person has dementia or not, right, we look at whether this person's IADLs, the instrumental the activities of daily living, are affected. Okay, so like what she said, whether this person is still able to go marketing, clean their house and things like that. Okay.
There are challenges.
Okay. So furthermore, some further additional symptoms of dementia would be, memory lapse. Okay, whether especially recent or short-term memory issues. So you will realize that if you speak to someone with dementia, right, often they will not remember who you are, especially if you are someone new that they just met. Like you could meet them now, and then maybe half an hour later you go back, and then you talk to the person again. Hey uncle, just now I come and see you, and you remember me or not? Uncle say, no, I never see you before. Things like that. Okay, but they can always. But
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Can hear or not?
Hello.
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 Hello. Can hear?
I can hear.
Can
Hello?
the rest can hear, right? Okay.
Can't hear.
Cannot hear, but the rest can hear me. You try turn up your volume, maybe if you are using your device. Okay, you try. I continue talking first. You see my mouth moving means I'm speaking. Okay. Okay. So memory lapse. So you realize that actually for seniors with dementia, they can still remember their family members because they have been living together with their family for a long time, right? So all these memories are already considered long-term memories. So long-term memories, last time when they are young, where they go pator, what's their favorite chicken rice store last time 30 years ago, all these things they can still remember. Okay, but the recent memories, all those things like what they did yesterday, things like that, what they ate yesterday, they also cannot remember already. Okay, so that's why it's very sometimes very difficult. Like you ask them whether they eat medicine or not, they say yes, eat already, but then after that they forget again. They want to go and eat again. Okay. So the next one will be confusion, okay, disorientation and problems with decision making. Okay, so one telltale sign is that for people with quite severe dementia is that they cannot discern between day and night already. So their timing, the time is very very messy one. So it's like now it's about 2:25 p.m. right? You ask them what's the time now, They probably tell you something like way off, like 11 p.m., things like that. Okay, so they have no concept of time lah, right? And of course, if you ask them to decide, they also have issues making a decision because they forget what they decided on previously lah. Okay, and then confusion as well. So you also find that they also have trouble handling finances. Okay, in the sense that they can't count, they can't do simple calculations. So of course, when they go out, let's say they go out buy things, there's a risk of them being shortchanged lah. Okay, because they won't know if, let's say, they were to buy a chicken rice worth $3, right? Then they give the person $10. If the person gives them back $2 only, they also won't know one. Okay, so that's one of the risks lah. And the fourth one would be unable to hold a conversation. Okay, like what I mentioned just now, they can be a bit incoherent and then answering you with not the answers that you're looking for. Okay, then changes in appearance or dress and a problem in maintaining daily activities. Okay, so they, like, let's say I see a lot of, the seniors like to wear button clothes, right? A lot of the button clothes. So they will have issues buttoning their shirt up also lah. Okay, and you might find that they are also low mood lah, but this low mood also varies according to because everyone with dementia is different lah, because they each have their own personality as well. So not necessarily everyone with dementia will have low mood, but you might also find that some of them with dementia, so they might have a personality change. So they might be like this very nice, caring, elderly before dementia, but after dementia they could transform and change into another personality type lah. Okay, so these are all things that we can take note of. Okay, so as what is mentioned below, the symptoms may vary according to which part of the brain is affected lah. Okay. Okay, so for dementia, right? We all know dementia lah, but actually dementia, there are a few types. Okay, so there are actually about five different types of dementia, but I will only touch on the first two, which are more common in today's society. The last three are good to know, but you don't really have to know because they don't really affect a large portion of those people who have dementia. Okay, so the first one will be Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so Alzheimer's disease is actually the most common form of dementia. Okay, so changes in the brain occur gradually. So it's not like today you go to sleep perfectly fine, tomorrow you wake up, suddenly you have dementia. So suddenly you forget who your family members are. So it doesn't work that way. Okay, so for dementia, it's a very long-standing, long-term deterioration. Okay, so signs of Alzheimer's disease include short-term memory, okay, changes in judgment, reasoning, and the inability to perform daily tasks. So actually, you will find that actually most for dementia, right, no matter what kind of dementia it is, whether Alzheimer's, whether is it vascular dementia or whatnot, right, the symptoms more or less are the same. The reason being because it affects the brain itself and the portion of the brain that controls all these things. Okay, so actually Alzheimer's is very common because it accounts for about 60 to 80% of all the dementia cases in Singapore. Okay, so Alzheimer's, that one is more genetic based. So it's not really something that you can control. You will find that, okay, because nowadays people are saying, keep your mind active, keep your mind healthy, you can lower the risk of dementia, right? So that one is right. You can lower the risk, but it doesn't lower the risk down to 0%. It doesn't make you immune to not getting dementia, right? So there's always a chance that because due to genetics, our genes, so each individual has his or her own individual chance of getting dementia, if let's say you have the gene itself. Okay, so that one we can't control, but what we can control is vascular dementia. Okay, so vascular dementia itself, why we can control, right? Because it is linked to strokes. Okay, and so because stroke, you can prevent one. Okay, stroke is not genetic. So stroke is linked to our lifestyle choices and our things like our diet as well. Okay, so what causes vascular dementia? Okay, the lack of blood circulation in the brain results in the damage to the brain areas involved in attention, planning, and behavior. So what happens is that during a stroke, right, you realize that why you have a stroke, because your blood cannot reach the other parts of your brain, right? No oxygen, the blood cannot bring oxygen to other parts of your brain. So therefore you faint, you black out and things like that. So due to this past history of the stroke, the lack of oxygen in your brain for a certain amount of time, it can and might lead to vascular dementia because the damage of the brain has already taken place. Okay, so if you look at the percentage, about half of dementia cases in Singapore are actually caused by vascular dementia. Okay, so these are the two main causes of dementia. Okay, and so after knowing the what causes it, right? Okay, how do we reduce the risk of developing dementia? Okay, that's what we all want to know, right? Okay, so every one of us all age differently that's why sometimes when you see people in the video or things like that, someone 80 years old might not look 80 years old. Someone who is possibly 40 years old might look like he's 60 years old. Okay, so all of us age differently in our own way. Okay, so what makes us age differently would be our genetic inheritance. Okay, so all these things affect our genetics, affect things like our skin, our hair. So once it affects our physical outlook, we all look differently on the outside. Okay, then our health behaviors. Okay, what are we doing to upkeep our own health? Are we eating a lot of unhealthy food, or are we watching our diet? Okay, so all the kind of food that we intake will also help make us age differently. And then who are we and what do we do to keep the process going? Okay, so when we look at the health, right, there are various aspects. So like social, we have our peers, we have our family circumstances and our school family relationships. Psychological, for the psychological portion, we have our own self-esteem, our coping skills, and then for biological portion, we have our genetics, our health, and whether we have any disabilities. So all these things come together to determine how we age as an individual. Okay, so I see all of you are still in relatively good health, I hope. Okay, all of you seem like you are well. So of course, we all know that prevention is better than treatment, right? We don't want to fall sick already there after that, go and treat it. Why? I mean, it's not there's money spent in the process, and then you might not recover 100%. So what we want to do is to prevent it from even happening in the first place. Okay, so how do we prevent and lower the risk of mental health issues? Okay, we want to eat well and sleep well. Okay, that one very common knowledge, I'm sure all of you know. Okay, keep yourself active by exercising. Okay, if you like any mind stimulating exercises, okay, nowadays quite easy to access. Last time is play chess, play puzzle, play mahjong, and play Wamio last time before handphone. But now it's in a way easier to stimulate your own mind because we all have a handphone of our own. Okay, very easy to just open the handphone, open the app, play some games and whatnot if you're interested, right? But if you don't, then of course, can always head down to the nearest activity center at the community center to take part in activities to keep your hands and your mind active. Okay, then of course, joining such talks also can also help to keep your mind active by learning new things. Okay, reading, watching news, keeping yourself updated with current affairs, even if you keep yourself updated with what's the latest discount online also can, like NTUC got what fish on discount, also good. Okay, setting a good routine. If you are interested in a particular hobby, you can also join an interest group that you can do things together, be it a walking club, mahjong club, things like that. And of course, to stay connected with our family, neighbors, and friends. So the essence of this is that to remain sociable, okay, because isolation is one of the biggest causes of depression, and then depression can also lead to dementia itself. Okay, due to the lack of stimulation of the mind. Okay. Okay, so how do we do some healthy adjustments, right? There are 3 M's. Okay, we can always remember the 3 M's, which is to manage, mingle, and move. Okay, so all this contribute towards healthy aging. So for manage, okay, we want to minimize the risk of disease and disability through our diet lah. So it's very simple. I just have to eat more fruits and vegetables. Okay, we all love to eat our hawker food, like even sometimes fast food, McDonald's, KFC, things like that. But what we can do, I mean, we can eat it once in a while, but to keep ourselves healthy, we try to reduce the fat intake as much as possible, and try not to smoke if you can as well. Okay, so these are just basically basic healthy habits that we can adopt in our daily lifestyle. Okay, and then mingling, okay, to continue engagement with life. Okay, so it's very good that to see all of you down here with me today, attending this online talk. We can see others in your community who are also sitting in and listening and learning as well. Okay, so do continue with this engagement. The CC also has activities that you guys can sign up and to join Okay. And of course, lastly is to move. Okay, move not only your own physical body, but your mind as well. Okay, continuously exercise your both body and your mind. Okay, doing so can help you to decrease your stress levels, and of course to regulate your own weight. Okay, because by decreasing your own stress levels and regulating your own weight, you are also reducing your risk of getting a stroke. And then that in turn reduce the risk of you getting dementia, vascular dementia. Okay. Okay, so sometimes we do go and buy food from supermarket and things like that, or sometimes we do buy snacks. We like to eat snacks at home as well. So all this we can continue to do, but one thing to keep it more healthy would be actually to look out for those snacks or foodstuffs with such healthy food signs. Okay, whether be it higher in whole grains, lower in calories. So basically, as long as you see the healthier choice sign, right, then this is a healthier choice to buy. So nowadays, when you go supermarket, they also sell drinks, right? So now drinks also, they have the ABCD grade as to how healthy it is. Okay, so when buying drinks, we can also look at whether if it's A and B, then I mean we can try to buy that more rather than compared to a drink that is C or D grade. Okay, but all these are just small tips you guys should be quite familiar with it Okay, then for those who cook, okay, we eat healthy by choosing more leafy dark green vegetables, such as spinach, broccoli, and kale. Okay, 小白菜 also okay. So fatty fish such as salmon, cod, and sardine are also excellent sources of omega-3 fatty acids. So all these fatty acids help to keep our brain healthy as well. Okay, like you see, they always say eat fish oil to keep your brain active. So there's some scientific truth in that. Okay, but it doesn't totally reduce the risk to zero. Okay. Okay, so if you like to eat berries, okay, berries such as cranberries, blueberries, okay, they also have antioxidant properties. And of course, nuts and seeds are a great alternative source to omega-3 fatty acids as well, other than the fatty fish such as salmon and cod. Okay, so exercise, if you can, okay, you will find that exercise doesn't have to be anything very strenuous. It can be a little walking. It can be just in your own living room. You walk from the kitchen to the living room 10 times. Also can. Okay. So you'll find that after exercise, it can improve your own mood. Like you will tend to feel good after that. Of course, if you can, ideally you walk for 30 minutes a day. But otherwise, you can just exercise based on whatever you can. Okay. If you feel tired already, just sit down and rest. Don't have to push yourself to meet 30 minutes a day because all our own physical fitness varies from person to person. Okay, so just do what you can, but a little bit will go a long way, right? Okay, so so previously I just talked about exercise, right, which is about exercising your body. Okay, but a healthy mind is also as important as maintaining a healthy body. Okay, good mental health is ageless. Okay, so it doesn't matter what age you are. My age, or 50 years old, 60 years old, 100 years old, we all want to have good mental health. Okay, so how do we maintain good mental health? Would be to go for things like health screening. Okay, health screening is mainly for your own physical health. acceptance of loss. Okay, some things you cannot keep holding on to them. If possible, we just let go, and with it, we let go of the stress that is preventing us from living a healthy and happy life. Okay, no matter what age you are, we can always explore new meanings in life. Okay, hobbies, no matter what age you are, you can also explore new hobbies. So like recently, I started rearing shrimp. Okay, for whatever reason, just for myself, I started with some fish. So now I'm rearing some shrimp. Okay. So hobbies, it doesn't mean that, you know, even when I'm 60 years old, I could also start rearing something new or looking after something new. So the point is that it doesn't have to, you don't have to let your age determine like what you can or cannot do. Okay. Even if you are 80 years old, you suddenly want to say, I want to go and ride bicycle, also can. Okay. As long as your health permits it, by all means do it. Okay, so we also want to eventually develop healthy habits to enhance our own wellness lah. Okay, so the healthy habits are what I mentioned previously just now with regards to your diet and your exercise routines lah. Okay. Okay, but unfortunately, right, I mean, we can do all these things, but yet people around us might still succumb to dementia. Okay, so if a loved one has dementia, we want to know what are the available treatments treatments and what are the resources that we can tap on to make our journey a lot less stressful. Okay, because caring for someone with dementia, right? I mean, the dementia person will not know lah because they already have dementia. So the people affected is not the demented person himself, but rather the people around them, such as their family and friends. Okay. Okay, so what we want to pick up, right, with regards to dementia is that we want to have an early diagnosis as early as possible. Okay, so that we can administer treatment. Okay, so treatment is not in the sense that, oh, you know, once eat medication, then dementia suddenly become okay already. Okay, so the unfortunate thing is that dementia has no cure. So once a person has dementia, right, the best thing to be done would be to see a doctor to obtain a diagnosis as soon as. Okay. So dementia cannot be cured, but the process, because dementia is a long-term process, right? So through medication, the process can be slowed down. So the person with dementia doesn't deteriorate so quickly. Okay. In fact, with proper medication and being controlled, the person might not deteriorate further at all. So we can actually keep it in the early dementia stage, which is actually, so they are still quite functional at that stage lah. You know, for people with early dementia, they still remember family members, you know, still quite functional in the community as well. Occasional forgetfulness, but they still can live by themselves quite successfully lah. Okay. So for the best results to help keep them active in the community as much as possible and to prevent deterioration, we need to look at 5 factors. Okay, so these 5 factors will be things like, okay, medication, first and foremost. This person has to remember to take the medication. Okay, and we all know that for someone with dementia, especially living alone, it can be quite challenging for this person to remember to take medication. So a lot of times, the condition deteriorates not because there was no diagnosis, but rather this person with dementia just keep missing out on taking the medication and does keep going downhill. So we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, so we have to keep this person active as well. Okay, physical activities, mental activities, and social activities. And of course, our family support is also very important to keep this person in this current state as much as possible. Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, for managing dementia, okay, there are some communication tips. Okay, so these tips you can use it with not just your family member, but if let's say, you know, you come across someone, an elderly person, maybe, you know, sitting down in the middle of the somewhere under the void deck, you know, crying, feeling very scared, chances are this person might have dementia, okay, and they forgot how to go home. So all this can happen within our community, and it's more normal than you think. Okay, so how do we communicate with people with dementia, right? Okay, so we want to set a positive tone, set a positive mood for interaction. Okay, because dementia people are also still people, right? I mean, they are more likely to answer you if you have a smiley face talking to them as compared to someone with a frowning face. Okay, so we try to be positive. Okay, sometimes talking, as I mentioned earlier, right, sometimes they have difficulties maintaining a conversation. Okay, due to the fact that they can't remember what you said, or they just simply do not understand what you said. So when they give you the answer that you are not expecting, it's quite natural, it's quite normal for you to feel frustrated, because you can ask them the same question 10 times, you will get 10 different answers. So definitely you confirm will feel pek-cek, you confirm will feel frustrated, right? So, but know that this person is not doing it on purpose, okay? This person is also afflicted with dementia, so therefore they're not, they really don't know, okay? So we, on our part, we try to avoid being frustrated and give them more of our own patience. Okay, give them time to respond. So when you talk to them, right, you don't use so chim the language. Okay, don't use such complicated language. You try to ask them very simple questions and ask them. So keep sentences short, simple, and clear. Okay, very simple. Ask them, have you eaten? But don't be surprised even if you keep the sentence simple, such as, "Auntie, have you eaten?" They might also have difficulty answering you Okay. And if you can, you speak slowly because sometimes, most of the times, if let's say it is a senior who has dementia, they might also have a bit of hard of hearing. So it does help to speak slightly louder and slower if you can, to help get your point across to them. Okay, so ask them close-ended questions. So what are close-ended questions? It means that you don't ask them, instead of asking them what did they have for lunch, right? Okay, because there can be so many things, right? You ask them close-ended. So close-ended questions basically means that the answer that they give is either yes or no only. So, "Auntie, did you eat chicken rice?" No. "Auntie, did you eat laksa?" Yes. Okay, so only yes or no questions to help them be able to answer you Okay, make eye contact and be attentive. Okay, then sometimes they have concerns they will tend to tell you things like, I very worried about my son, he go to school, haven't come back home yet but then actually this son is already 50 years old already. Okay, they might be telling you that, my son only 10 years old, I go to school, I don't know how to come back home and things like that. Okay, but you know that the son is 50 years old. But of course, when we talk to people with dementia, right, we don't tell them we don't tell them, say, "No auntie, your son is already 50 years old. He already at home, he already working already." Then they'll say, no, my son is only 10 years old. Okay, so if you keep arguing, there's no point in arguing with them. Okay, because to them, in their own world, their son is only 10 years old. Okay, so what we can do to help them, right, is actually to acknowledge their concerns. In a way, you just play along with them. Okay, so you can, if let's say the auntie say, "I'm very concerned about my son, 10 years old." I mean, if you are the caregiver, you will know you just be like, "Oh yeah, your son 10 years old. Don't worry, he knows how to come back. If let's say he never come back later, I call the school, okay?" Then the auntie will be like, "Oh, okay, thank you." Then usually you will find that it will end there. Okay, as long as they get an answer as opposed to you telling them or objecting to what they said. Okay, so we just go along with the flow when we are talking to people with dementia. Okay, sometimes we can also use different senses to communicate. So not everything has to be about using our voice. Okay, we can also if they don't know what we're talking about, we can also draw. Okay, we can also draw or maybe watch a video, things like that. Okay, or show them pictures of their past. If you have pictures of their when they are young, their family photos and things like that, we can also show them Okay. Okay, so if you happen to be a caregiver of someone with dementia, you live together with one, or you happen to know of a loved one who is living with dementia in their own house. Okay, how do we manage that? Because it can be quite a challenge, right? Considering that they have difficulties with their IADLs. Okay, so the reason why they have difficulty cooking is because they sometimes forget to switch off the fire. I think that's one of the topmost priority when we talk about elderly and cooking. So we try to use appliances that have auto off features. Nowadays there are a lot of electric kettles and things like that, but of course there are some people who still like the old school method using the hot water kettle fill the water, put on the stove and boil until the water boil, that kind one. So all these things, if you have no problem, of course it's okay, it's perfectly fine. But the problem comes by when you have someone who has dementia and who forgets that they actually put the water on the stove to boil, and then which might cause a fire risk. So we want to use appliances that have auto off features as much as possible, in case they forget. Okay. So the second point is to keep medications in locked areas. Okay. So for medications, especially depending on the state of their dementia, right? Sometimes they can eat their medication, and then maybe 20 minutes later they forget, and then they go and take the medication and eat again, and then this can repeat many times. So what happens is that there might be an overdose, they keep doing this over and over again. So that's why we always try to keep our medications in locked areas as much as possible. That's why. So, but I mean, if let's say this person is living alone, then of course it might pose a challenge, because if let's say the place is locked, then who is going to come and give this person the medication, right? So that's why there's always a concern, if the person with dementia is living alone. Okay, but if you're living with someone else, living with a family member, then the person can always just go to the locked area, open it, and then administer medication, and then lock it back again. Okay. Then of course, the third one is to keep walkways well lit. Okay. So because people with dementia, they have no sense of time. So to them, morning can be night and night can be in the morning. So you will find that for people with dementia, like 3 a.m. they can still be walking around the house. Okay. So if they do so, then of course what we want to do is we want to prevent them from falling down, tripping and falling down. So we try to keep the walkways well lit through those night lights. Okay, like keep the area well lit, because we don't want them to walk around at night and then trip on something and then fall down. Then that will be life-threatening. Okay. And of course, to monitor any noise levels in the house. This one is mainly for fall risk. So if let's say you have a you have a family member who is living alone and he or she has dementia, it will help to have a CCTV or like a those fall risk monitors, just in case they fall down and then they shout for help me, then at least you can still, there's an alert that can come on your phone and things like that. Okay, because all these things we are very concerned on. Nowadays, there are a lot more seniors who are living alone and who are falling down alone at home without people knowing. And of course, we want to minimize that from happening. Okay. But of course, we also recognize that, some seniors, they are not comfortable with installing such devices in their house. So we can only suggest, but ultimately, we still do face some roadblocks now and then. Okay, so this is another short video about experiences as a caregiver. Okay.
妈，爸不在啊。
哎呀 you know him 啦 ，every morning 他很少出去的。He bought your 嘴龟 already, but he always like to walk around. Okay 啦 exercise is good for him.
我出国读书那么久 ，but I still remembers my favorite 鸡龟。
Yeah 咯，你吃先 ，I go return something. 爸爸很快回来啦。Morning Helen。
哎，Auntie，
等下我阿老来，你知影怎做啊？水果四地，香蕉淡薄，菜包做做啊，Auntie 我会记了。放心，感谢你哈，我先行，拜拜，过来啦。Boss, thank you so much. Return to you one.
Okay.
Here.
No need.
Thank you
Hello, Auntie Georg. How are you?
Hello, Kairu. Hello, Clarence. Good. I'm fine.
Don't worry. If we see him, we'll take him home.
Thank you.
Auntie Georg, what are you doing here?
在等你咯。你现在乖不乖
Of course, good lah.
I got something to tell you. If you see Uncle Tan around here, make sure you tell him which floor he stay. Okay?
I will. I promise you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. 很高兴你回来了。
哎，爸。
Cairo, thank you so much. I say trouble you again.
Auntie, no problem. Mr. Tang was just wandering downstairs, so we thought we'd bring him out.
Thank you. 他是谁？他是你儿子，阿成。他回来了。
Ma, what happened to Pa? How long already? Why you never tell me?
It's dementia，已经6个月了。幸好到处有朋友照顾他。Papa is still the same, just that he's living in a world of his own. We have to reach out to him.
不停地回头，街道失去街灯的线索，每一扇门都是一道迷宫。那个名字属于
Auntie Helen，
哎，你好。
等一下爸来吼，一样的 order，OK？
4个追柜，菜谱多多，辣椒少少，对吗？
谢谢。
过1秒钟，竟变成照片里陌生的面孔。请你跟着我，点亮夜空的灯火，让星光指引我们回到分岔的路口，牵着我的手，像你当时牵着我，从此起不再被时间偷走，存在进我的手中，不再流动。
Okay, so like you saw the video just now, right? So it's not easy for the family members, for the caregivers, for people with dementia, but it's not impossible to help people with dementia live well within the community lah. Provided we give them the support that they need. Okay, so for caregivers, we have to be patient with them. Our loved ones are just as affected by dementia. Okay. And always constantly remind ourselves to show respect and understand the dignity of our loved ones. Okay, so like you can see, the uncle got dementia, but he can still play chess one. Okay, so it's not like once the moment you get dementia, you lose all your thoughts and all your skills lah. You still can do things one, so you can play chess, you can play mahjong one. Okay, it's just that you don't remember the recent events only. Okay. Okay, so for caregivers, we just have to seek help from friends and family as much as possible, but otherwise there's always community resources available that you can tap on. And of course, if let's say you are a caregiver for someone with dementia, you might also consider joining a support group, okay, where you can find peers with similar experiences and also to seek advice and find comfort from people who are also undergoing the same thing as you are. Okay. Okay, so for people with dementia, the available services will be things like dementia daycare. Okay, we have home care services. Okay, for CRES as well. So I'm from CRES, okay, where we do monitoring of the senior and service linkage. You can also subscribe to Dementia Singapore for more information on dementia, as well as any mobile phone apps. Okay, Dementia Friends and Vintage Radio SG. So the Vintage Radio SG, the one plays like mostly the older songs that they are familiar with for seniors. Okay, so if you are interested in joining the support group network, okay, you can contact my colleagues at these numbers. Okay, you can join our WhatsApp group as well, where we will broadcast juicy bits of information, whether any news, latest news, or if you simply need someone to talk to or need any help, just drop us a message lah. Okay. If you need the number, you can also ask me later after this, because I think it's 3 o'clock already, so I need to. I understand you guys also have your own time also. Okay, so if you're kind enough to help us fill out the evaluation form for today's talk, it's in the chat box below. Where my colleague has posted, you can just go to click on the link to fill it up and just give us your feedback so that I can improve the next time you see me. Okay, I would gladly love to hear from you guys. And of course, since we are all here today, can we just take a picture? Wani, can you help to take the picture?
Can. Okay. Ready?
Yeah. Okay, comb your hair. Comb your hair. Nice. Smile. Wani, you count 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I need to take 2 photos.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, another one. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, done.
Okay, thank you all so much for your time today. This is all. If you have any questions, you may just ask me. But otherwise, I sincerely thank you all for joining me on this journey today lah. And I hope to see you all again the next time round we have the talks lah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I feel sad, but also I feel warm when I watching the video. Yes, we need kampong spirit in Singapore.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, kampong spirit is the right word for that video, right? Because everyone is pitching in, understanding that this uncle has dementia, right? So they all understand like what is it like for the family to go through it as well lah. So kampong spirit, definitely you hit the nail on the head. Of course, if can, we want to foster more of this spirit in all our communities across Singapore lah. But thank you for your feedback and your feelings, sharing your feelings.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
I really hope that the people here all will be healthy. Till we bye. Not only us, but our family, the whole Singapore. I hope the dementia will not affect so many people.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah lah. Of course, ideally we hope that it will not affect so many people. But sometimes, no choice leh. It is increasing due to our habits or things like that. But definitely we want to go for early detection as much as possible lah. So let's say you do come across any friends or family, that they share with you, my family, my father might have dementia and things like that. Just go and get it checked. Go to the doctor as soon as possible lah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Can we have the contact or the helpline?
Oh yeah,
number
sure. You all still need the QR code?
Yeah, I did it already.
Okay, you scan it.
Thank you, Jin Yi.
Yes. Okay,
What were the numbers for help one be posted again?
Okay, wait. How about I post it in the chat? Wait.
Post it with the chat. Then at least we can have it.
Okay, let me post it in the chat. Wait, give me a moment. Okay, here you go. So there are 2 of them. You can contact either Alan or Hao Xin.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries, thank you. Yeah,
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. You too. Take care. Have a good day. Okay.
Same to you.
Bye everyone. Leaving.
Bye. Thanks for coming. See you guys. See you all again next time. 谢谢
Yeah,
你们啊，
bye
谢谢
bye.
你们，谢谢你，谢谢你
Yeah,
Madam Tan， 谢
you.
谢
Yeah, thank you.
，Thank you， 拜拜
Bye bye.
，Bye， Thanks Peggy， Thank you。
See you.
See you。
Thank you very much, Derry. Good.
Thank you, thank you,
Enjoy the time. Thank you.
thank you。